It's lunchtime at a school in Riga. Here, everyone knows what the economic crisis means. They're witnessing firsthand how people are having to scrimp and save, both at school and at home. As these young pupils tell us, a crisis is when there's no money. And one of them adds, it's when you can't find good jobs. Inara Kruma is the assistant principal. She was present when the decision was made which teachers at her school would be let go. Now, almost a year later, she says there was no alternative. The government had to cut spending to meet the terms dictated by the IMF. Most cuts came in the public sector.
It was the fastest way for the government to fulfill the IMF's conditions. They knew exactly how much they could save with us teachers, doctors, police officers, and pensioners.
Wages were cut by 20%, but there was little public outcry. People like Carlos Strautens were happy they still had a job. While his salary only covers basic necessities, meaning he can't afford a new suit, he's convinced that Latvians will survive this crisis, like all the ones before.
The Soviet era was a bit like a survival training course. In contrast to Greece, where people can just lie under the olive trees and sunbathe, we've learned some bitter lessons.
At the start of May, Latvia commemorated the 20th anniversary of its independence from the Soviet Union. But there was little to celebrate. Unemployment is close to 17% and many shops stand empty. Consumers aren't spending, and the government has no money to pump into the economy to kickstart it again. The man responsible for the austerity measures is Valdis Dombrovskis, Latvia's prime minister. 38 years young, he's been in office since March 2009. But his policies have been largely dictated by the IMF. Dombrovskis saw no other way to get his country back on its feet, as he told the press a year ago.
In the current economic situation and in the current setup with international loan providers, we really do not have lots of a choice. Second choice is just to go bankrupt, basically, and that's probably worse.
1 year on, Dombrovskis' opponents are still camping out in front of government buildings, but they're few in number. The Prime Minister has earned a reputation as an honest politician who's interested in more than winning the next election. His austerity measures are starting to produce results, and he's confident about the future.
The Latvian economy is gradually coming out of the crisis. We're forecasting growth again for the second half of the year.
This is one reason why Latvia is now being viewed as a model for Greece. Yet many Latvians aren't seeing the benefits of their country's rising fortunes. Food parcels are put together in this depot in Riga. They're for people in rural areas where jobs are scarce. The woman collecting the parcels is unemployed herself. She says many people rely on food aid.
Many families are very thankful. They ask when they'll get their food parcel so they can finally feed their children something other than potatoes.
In spite of all the difficulties, there's no sign of unrest in Latvia. The people here are patient and tell us they're used to hard times. Like this flower seller, most see themselves as survivors.
We're born to overcome difficulties. We should remain optimistic.
Latvians are pragmatists. But how long will they be willing to tighten their belts? Parliamentary elections are slated for October, and right now, Valdis Dombrovskis' chances of being re-elected don't look very good.